Welcome to Epiphany Experts number 5. Today I'll be talking about ClickTail and its use in website optimization. So ClickTail is a tool which allows you to video record a user's interaction with your website. And the idea being that you get thousands of recordings and you look at trends in the data. The first thing people do when they hear about ClickTail is think about the exciting nature of watching visitors actually using your site. But what we're talking about here is having thousands of people use your site and record those thousands of sessions and then look and spot patterns which may help us describe how our website optimization product should be run and help us to discover what problems we might be having with conversion rates. So the first thing that ClickTail can do is heat maps, and these are really useful ways of summing up what people are doing on your website. So the first thing is a mouse move heat map. So ClickTail will record where your mouse is moving for each session, for each user, and then it will summarize all the mouse movement. And when you look at this on a heat map, you'll get spots of red and blue, which shows where the mouse is moving the most, and areas that have very little mouse movement against areas that don't have any mouse interaction whatsoever. So, for example, what you might see is that a lot of people tend to focus around your calls to action. There'll be a red spot there. Around your navigation, so wherever you've got a navigation, there's probably going to be a lot of high heat in those areas. But there may be some parts of your website that don't get any interaction from the mouse. And these might be areas that you want to look at. Are you putting the right things in those areas? Are you wasting that space? So interesting ideas for you to improve your conversion rates there. You can take this one step further by doing a click heat map, which shows you where people have actually clicked on your website. So it may be that you're getting a lot of heat around the navigation, but you're actually not getting too many clicks. So do people actually know that they can actually click on your navigation? It's a really basic example. Another example from a client that we used recently is that we set up ClickTail, and they had these 3 white buttons in the top right of their website. They were like symbols, but they didn't exactly look like buttons. And what they did is push the telephone number out of the way, right to the very, very top right, in quite small font. When we put ClickTail on there, we found that actually the heat maps were showing that nobody was moving their mouse in that area. There were certainly no clicks over there on the white buttons, so we suggested you take the white buttons off. And what we found then is that we could move the number further down, make it bigger, and actually the result was that after just 100 heat maps later, you can see that already people were already starting to give more attention to the telephone number. Actually, people were just clicking on the number, which doesn't actually do anything, but it tends to be a thing you see in this, that people click where they want, where they're interested, even if it doesn't do anything. So it may be worthwhile as putting a direct through there so that you can go through to the contact page when you click on the number. But at least we can see people are now interacting with the telephone number, and this will be improving their conversion rate. Another thing that ClickTail does is a scroll heat map. So it will show you how many people scroll down the page. Same client, an example from theirs is that they had a contact form on the page, but it was just below the fold. Now the scroll heat map could show us that actually 90% of people going onto the page were not scrolling down. So even though the contact form was pretty simple, it was quite apparent in the middle of the page, it was actually below the fold, so 90% of their visitors were not even seeing the form to have a chance to actually fill it out. So simply by moving it above the fold or having a call to action to tell people to go down to it would help improve their conversion rate at this point. Another thing that they have is form analytics. So this is quite a nice feature. If you have a lengthy checkout process or just any kind of form that you need to fill in a few fields on, you can look at the form analytics and say how many people started filling in my form, how many people completed filling in my form, and more importantly, which fields people left blank, which fields people had to type into more than once before they got it right. And especially if you have fields which people must fill in, this is really useful, because if you have a field that people must fill in and it's getting lots of repeat fill-ins, so people are struggling to actually fill it in, then this could be a reason why your conversion rates are lower than they could be. So if you can present that in a different way, or think about whether this is really a mandatory field and whether you can maybe make this optional, or if you could remove it altogether, there's plenty of ways you can improve your conversion rate given this bit of insight that ClickTail's given you. You can also look through the videos if you really want to, and what you would do is you would take all the videos where a person has converted on a certain page, or all the videos where they've taken a certain path, say through a particular product that you're interested in looking at, all the people that went to driving experience, followed by Lander of a day out, followed by checkout process. You can look at all those videos, review them, and see if you can spot a pattern between what people are doing when they're moving through there to conversion. If they're managing to find something that's not obvious on your site, which is helping them to convert, then you may want to make that more visible on your site, and that may encourage more people to convert. So there's a nice way of spotting patterns there. On the reverse, you could also find all the people who got so far in the process and then didn't complete, and try and figure out exactly why they didn't complete just from watching the videos and how their mouse is moving. Okay, so in terms of actually implementing ClickTail, it's fairly straightforward. There's just two pieces of code that needs to go on each page of your website, or each page that you want to track. One goes just after the opening body tag, and the second just before the closing body tag. In terms of the account package options, there is a free option, but it's very, very limited, and I don't think you can get much insight from using the free version. There is a bronze package, a silver, and a gold, but really the best way to get hold of ClickTail is to go through your agency. Epiphany have a reseller account, so we can get you a discount on it. We'll set it up, we'll help you through all the setup, and provide analysis on it. So that's really the best way to get the most out of this tool. Thanks very much.